Hello everybody, Derby here with another Stratego game analysis. This game is going to be about statistics, Stratego statistics, which can help you win games a lot more often and then help you win games a lot quicker. The first stat we're going to learn is where flags are most often located. Now the corners are popular, but the two most popular spots where flags are located are D10 and G10. So 4 over from the left at D10, that's the most popular spot for a flag. And then 4 over from the right, G10, is the second most popular spot for a flag. Now another statistic that will help you win a lot of games, and it's kind of obvious, but if you remember where the marshal was located, your opponent's marshal, from at the start of the game, if you can remember where it was located, so if you divide the board in half, if the marshal was on the left-hand side of the board at the start of the game, the flag has a 70% chance of being on that side. And if the marshal was on the right side, the flag has a 70% chance of being on the right side. So it's very important if you can remember where the marshal was located at the start of the game. Then you might want to target, if it's on the left-hand side, you might want to target D10. And if you find the marshal on the right-hand side at the start of the game, you might want to target G10. And that will definitely increase your chances of winning, especially late in the game. If it's late in the game and you're going down, both sides are racing towards to find the flag, and you have an option to go left or right, and you remember the marshal was at the start of the game was on the right-hand side, go to the right-hand side. If the marshal was on the left-hand side, go to the left-hand side. Those stats will help you win more games than not. So, and then there's another stat that's kind of important. The general and the marshal are usually separated 2/3 of the time. So if you divide the board in half, if the marshal was on the left-hand side, there's a 67% chance the general's on the right-hand side, and vice versa. So a lot of times people keep the marshal and general separated to have a balance on their board so they can defend each side evenly. They don't overload like I have here. This is rare. This only happens 1/3 of the time. But 2/3 of the time, a marshal will be on one side of the board and the general will be on the other side of the board. So let's get this game started, and we'll see how stats help me defeat this opponent. Okay, so let me go back real quick. The opponent, he was a 500 level player. So mediocre player, 364 yellow. This might have been a family account. I'm not sure. But let's go. So I'm moving up to cover my flag in the first 2 moves. My setup is an awful mess. This is when I was starting the flags here. Look, I have a spy behind the flag, so that's really unusual. I was just messing around, trying different things. But notice here, he scouted my bomb on the second move, so if it would have been flipped, he would have won the game. But then also notice here, I took my time. A lot of times when they hit this flag or hit this bomb, I have this bomb here for a reason. When they hit this bomb, I pause. I usually pause 5 to 10 seconds so they remember that this is a bomb, because a lot of times people play so fast they forget. I want them to say, oh, this is a bomb. And then a lot of people have symmetrical setups. So I want the beginning players to think, well, this is a bomb too. And then I'll move this piece out, and then they'll think, this is a bomb too, and they won't even check it. And it really does work. People believe this is a bomb, and they don't check it. So that's why I usually pause here for a few seconds when they hit this bomb. So now I cover my flag, and I'm glad I'm won, and I'm glad I didn't have my flag on J4. So we're moving fairly quickly. Now, I should have moved this up. I shouldn't have left this piece hanging there, but this is just a scouting piece. So that's just a minor. So what I'm doing here is I'm just moving up my pieces. With the flag, I play a little different. When you have a flag up front, you have to play a little different. And the main goal with the flag up front is to clear this column, because you want to get rid of any possible scouts in this column, or sergeants or miners. You don't want any garbage pieces coming down here and attacking your flag. So I try to clear this flag. And what I'm trying to do, I usually don't show my marshal. I almost play, when you have an open flag, you almost play like a marshal blitzer, except I don't want to show my marshal. I don't want them to know my marshal's over here. I want to try to clear this side with garbage pieces. I hope this is their weak side, or I hope I find a bomb early, so I don't even have to show any high pieces on this side. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to draw attention over here by having a marshal and a colonel, because when you draw attention over here, then the high pieces come over here, and then the scouts come over here, and then it's hard to win. But the goal is to clear this column until you hit a bomb. And if you don't hit a bomb, then you clear the back row till you hit a bomb, and then you play a normal game. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is find out what these pieces are. So I take the sergeant. And so that's good. I got a sergeant, and then I got the lieutenant. Now he moved this piece over. So that's telling me that this piece is definitely lower than a captain. So this is a strong piece, and this is almost certain a weak piece. And it's probably a miner coming to remove this bomb. And so now I would think statistically now. Right now I would pause for a few seconds. In my mind, I would say this is a general. So divide it in half. This is a general. There's a 2/3 chance that the marshal is on this side. And if the marshal's on this side, there's probably a 70% chance the flag is on this side. And then the two spots I would check would be A10 and D10. I would concentrate on D10 first and A10, and that's where I think the flag would be. So a lot of people do have symmetrical setups, or they have a balance if they split the board in half, and they treat their marshal and general as equal. So if the general is on the outside lake here, then there's a good chance the marshal is on the outside lake. Or if it was on the inside lake, if the general was here, a lot of times they would have the marshal here. So I'm already thinking, just off the start of this, right away from statistics, and this is with most of the beginners, 99% of the players you'll play, you'll think, well, if the general's here, there's a good chance that the marshal is over here. And that's the way stats can help you play. It helps you read the board a lot easier. And we're going to find out. We're going to try to come in here and see if we can find the marshal. So it was a miner. So that I was correct there. That was a miner. So this piece it's probably not a bluff piece. It could be a captain or major coming after my lieutenant. So now what I want to do here, I'm coming up with my sergeant. In case this is the marshal, I want to have a path for my general to attack stuff in the middle. We always want to be able to, when we counterattack, we want to be able to find, your goal is to find captains, majors, and colonels. So that's why we want to start scouting up here to see what we can find. So that was a lieutenant. So he could have won the game on the first move. A scout was here. If he would have come down to get the flag. He had another scout. So now this is interesting. Now here we're going to find out, is he going to attack with this piece? If this is a marshal, see, you don't want to reveal your marshal for lower pieces. Yeah, a lot of players won't even attack a major early in the game with their marshal. It depends on the game situation. I would probably take a major, but a lot of players might not. If you're playing really good players, you might want to wait. But if it's a captain, they won't take a captain or a lieutenant. And you certainly don't want to reveal your marshal for a sergeant. The only reason you would do that is your flag was here. So that makes no sense. So we're going to see if he attacks with this piece or if he attacks with this piece. See what happens. Isn't this what they call a tell? You're going to find out. I'm thinking this is the Marshal just because his general was over here. So he swapped, which is kind of interesting because you would think one of these two pieces would be higher than a sergeant. I mean, he did have 2 scouts here, but he's already used 5 scouts. So, and this could be a minor, but most people put their minors in the back. You might have 1 in the front, but even that's kind of rare. So the fact that he paused for a couple seconds and then swapped sergeants, this tells me that this is probably either a bomb, could be a bomb, or it's a high piece. I don't think it's a spy. So I think it's probably either a colonel or marshal, and he didn't want to reveal it. And it's probably a marshal. I think he might have taken it with a colonel. Beginners probably would reveal a colonel for a sergeant. But we'll see. So I moved my lieutenant over because I don't know what this is, but this is probably a captain or major. And I'm just bluffing that this is a high piece. And now I'm just going to move the colonel out of the way. What do I want to do? I want to check what this is. Now, we learned 2 things here. Most people think we only learn 1 thing. We learned 2 things. We learned, okay, this was the Marshal. So he did play the symmetrical setup, the general here and the Marshal here. But we also learned something important you might not notice. This piece here, it didn't move forward, and it's not a scout. If it was a scout, he would have come forward and taken me so his marshal wouldn't be revealed. He didn't do that. So this is, and he didn't move forward either. So this might be a bomb. A lot of times players might move forward just so to tempt you to go down. But most people never do it. They always go attack what they want to attack. And I wouldn't have gone down. I definitely would have went this way. So you just got to remember this, that this is not a scout. That's almost 100% sure. We found his marshal. So now, you know, the general's over here and the marshal's over here. So then you have to figure out a plan now how to... I like to counterattack with my colonels and with my general. This isn't the best setup to do that, but I need to find some targets. So that's what we're going to try to do now. We know this is a lieutenant, and I want to find some majors and colonels that I can target with my general. You got to remember where the pieces are. Marshal here or general here, and this is something probably higher than a lieutenant. This could be a colonel or major. So I'm going to lose this minor. I just moved it up to get it out of the way to get a lane for my general. So that's kind of a shame, losing a piece for no reason, but that's all right. It's not a big loss. Once you know your opponent's pieces and they don't know, once you know your opponent's high pieces and they don't know yours, you're in good shape. So I'm going to move my colonel up since his general's over here and his marshal is over here. I can move their colonel up. That's not a problem. And that's good. I always want to have something in front of the flag until I clear this. And that's why I want to clear this column, that scout right there. So now what I'm trying to do is I want to move my spy up to protect my colonel just in case, you know, the marshal sees all of this movement over here. He might decide to come up back over here. He knows this is a colonel now. He might come back over here and try to attack my colonel. So I want to move my spy up here as a safety valve for my colonel. And I can move it here right now because we know this is not a scout. So I'm fine here. This is definitely not a scout. So that's not a blunder moving it. Now he knew this was a captain. So what he's trying to do, and I wasn't paying too much attention to this side, he's trying to find out, he wants to know what this piece is so he can get my lieutenant. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out, again, my flag's here, I want to clear this column. So that's my concern right now. First clear the column and then I can play a normal game. So I just got to find out what this piece is. I hope it's a bomb. I don't care what this piece is. And now he moved this colonel here, and that changed my whole thinking of this game. When he moved this colonel there to swap colonels, I began to think, well, I thought to myself, this was the marshal was here and the colonel was here, so this is a very strong side. And right now I'm thinking, all right, flag is D10. Because this doesn't make sense to be a flag because it's wide open, right? If this is the two spots you want to check are the corners in D10 and G10. And so this is wide open. So I'm thinking, since this is the marshal was over here, the flag 70% of the time is on the marshal side. He had a colonel here defending, and this looks like a wedge here, bomb, bomb, bomb. So I'm thinking, let's bring up a minor and test one of these two pieces to see if they're a bomb. And this is the advantage, one advantage when you don't have your high pieces revealed. I can bring up a minor, especially if it's on the second or third row. If it's from the back row, and that's the one reason a lot of good players have a lot of their minors, four minors in the back and maybe one on the second or third row. But if you have most of your minors on the back row and then you want to bring a minor up, everyone's going to know. If you're bringing a piece from the back row, they're going to say, oh, that's a minor. But if it's coming from the second row, they're not sure. So they might say, well, that could be a colonel, that could be a general, that could be a marshal. So it's just like you wouldn't expect a marshal coming from the back row, but you would expect a minor coming from the back row. So at least with this minor coming from this row, he's not sure what it is. And since my opponent is winning right now, he's up a captain and he's up a sergeant. But he is down 5 scouts. So he doesn't want to gamble what it is, because his general's here and his marshal's here. So if I come up here, he can't come over with a major or colonel and attack this, because it might be my marshal or general. He doesn't know where they are. So that's when you get a free reign to come up here. That's the advantage of having your high pieces not revealed. You can go deep into your opponent's territory, and they can't check you out with their good pieces. And he doesn't have many scouts. He only has 1 scout left. Now here I made a big blunder. Let me go back for a second. Okay, here's where I made a blunder. We go back here. I made a blunder. He's coming down with a junk piece to check out this bomb. And I'm all excited bringing up my minor to see if the flag is here. It's always exciting when you think you know where the flag is now. And just by using statistics and pattern recognition. And he's coming over here, and I wasn't paying too much attention, but he's just trying to find out what this is, so he can take my lieutenant. That's what he's trying to do. So he moves over now. I should not have scouted this piece. This was a wasted piece, and that was the biggest blunder in this game. I was really mad at that. That really pissed me off. So now he knows, and now I did this on purpose. I left this lieutenant here. I moved up. And this is a common mistake so many beginners make. And I used to do this early on too. What happens is you get so immersed in what you're trying to do with your plan of attack. You're worried on one side, you're developing your plan, you're implementing your plan, you're thinking ahead, and you forget what your opponent is doing on the other side of the board. Now I did this on purpose because I wanted to show this is one of my pet peeves. You never want to do this. I'm going to lose a lieutenant here. I moved up, and he knows this is a bomb, so he's going to take it. And what I should have done is I either should have moved down 1 to just delay and make pretend that this is maybe a marshal or general, or I could have attacked this piece just to find out what it was. That maybe it's a colonel, is it a major, is it a captain, maybe he's bluffing. He's probably not bluffing, but at least find out what it was. the worst thing you can do is just leave a piece here and let it die for no reason at all and not get any information. Now, if my opponent was smart, he was going to attack with this piece, the general, because it's a known revealed piece. He doesn't want to attack with this piece because I don't know what it is. So we'll see what he does. But you never want to do that. You always want to either back down and make pretend this is a high piece or this is a high piece, or attack the unknown piece and at least get some information. So he was pretty smart. He attacked with the revealed general. So I'm just moving my miner up. And again, I want to try to get this or this. Now I pause for a minute because a lot of times if you go right away towards where the bomb is, then he might think that it is a miner. And then if this is a 7 or a lieutenant or something, he will attack it. But if he thinks this is a high piece like a colonel and I come down here, he might be hesitant. He might not want to do that. So if I just wait a few seconds and just sit up here like this is a high piece, then he won't think it's a miner. So then if I move down here, if this is a captain or something, he's not going to attack it. So I just move my colonel up. And now I finally go down. And now I go down. And then it is a bomb. So now this will tell me a lot of information now if he attacks with this or if he attacks with this. If he attacks with this, then I really want to know what this is. I'm almost positive that this is a flag, or maybe this is the flag. One of these two might be the flag, but since a bomb is here, bomb, I'm thinking this is the flag. So we'll see what he attacks with. And sure enough, he swaps with a miner in the back row. So then now I'm going to bring my scout over. It's the quickest way to get there, but I don't want to go zip and then zip, because this could move over and stop me, or maybe this could move over and stop me, or if this piece, he could move over and stop me. So I don't want him to know this is a scout, even though he should know it's a scout, because this is a scout I moved up and then over because I wanted to check this to see what it was. So if it was a scout, it wouldn't get my flag. So I just move over one. And now he's getting... Okay, he takes this bomb. And now I moved the scout out of the way because I was mad. I didn't want to lose this scout. So now he's getting scared with this marshal. He sees me over here. He's, uh-oh, my flag is open. And I move down. And it's game over. So that's how stats can help you win the game. The thing to remember is that the flag is 70% on the side where the marshal is at the start of the game. And then remember, D10 and G10 are the two most popular spots for flags. You keep those stats in mind, and they definitely will help you win a lot more games. Thanks for watching.